Bombcast. We interrupt this 41 seconds of logos to ask a simple question. Why is the crescent of the moon inside the damn moon? How is the sun's reflection of the moon only being blocked in that single particular area? Did someone build a giant Earth-sized stencil? What the hell's going on here?
Snakes have impeccable taste buds. I can taste air.
No, I think you have a tongue that moves the scents in the air to a special organ in your mouth to interpret them. So that just sounds like smelling with your tongue. But I either fell asleep in that class or was way too busy making jokes about my Jacobson's organ, so this is just an invitation to prove me right or wrong in the comments. Stop sitting in booths like this. Do you think I want the bottom of your nasty shoes up towards the surface I eat on? Sitting like this in a booth doesn't make you cool. It makes you an asshole. Speaking of which, don't even get me started on parents who change diapers on these things.
You know the one good thing about this place?
What?
We never have to wait for a table.
Why? Because you're a scary snake? Or is it because you're a talking snake? Either way, I think there's probably a lot less cowering that would happen in this situation and a lot more calling animal control before your meal was over. What a terrible way to escape. Why jump through a window when you can just waltz around anywhere you want? And can you please secure your cash a bit better? It's almost like you were prioritizing a cool atmospheric visual over maximizing your profits.
Hey, you! Get over here.
Why? I can apparently hear you just fine going 70 down the expressway from 2 lanes over. Also, fourth wall breakeration.
You're afraid because I'm the big bad wolf.
I am not.
I am the villain in every story.
Tell that to Hans Gruber, Regina George, and Daniel LaRusso.
Say hello to Mr. Snake.
Oh, sure, an animated movie can say it, but I say it one time in a Panda Express, and I'm the villain. Whatever. Movie will later encourage us to forgive Snake, even though he tried to murder 3 people at a pet store. Is that a Matahari pun? First off, that's just terrible punning. And second, are we relating this tarantula to a Dutch exotic dancer who spied for the Germans in World War I? I'm not sure if I'm sinning the sheer lack of the target audience who will get that reference, or that the movie doesn't try to pay it off with the spider doing a striptease even once in the movie.
I also took over the police dispatch, blurred their satellite imaging system, grounded their chopper, and one more thing.
Trying to gloss over this hacking is magic scene by scaring us with the prospect of the police having satellite imaging capabilities and the idea that anyone would be this eager to deliver a cake. More suggestions that our lovable crew has murdered people. Is this policeman hanging off the side of the vehicle? Why?
He's brave. He's fearless.
And also he's eating people.
You know you fart when you lie, right?
No, I didn't, but this is cinema's very first instance of Chekhov's fart. Congratulations to all involved.
Sorry.
The movie expects us to believe that not only do piranhas fart, that when they do, it produces a large enough amount of gas that not only immediately fills a car, but also can then billow out of the car and cause all the cars behind it to wreck. Oh, and that it's also green for some reason. Why do people fear the bad guys? If they lose this much money during their robberies, I'd expect more people to be following them around to pick up their drippings.
What? I just wanted a longer car chase. It's the best part.
Admitting directly to your audience that the best part of the movie is over within the first 7 minutes. This cake somehow returns to the car intact. Sorry, movie, you can't launch your cake and keep it too.
Yeah, we may be bad, but we're so good at it.
The delusion that surviving this has anything to do with skill and not the fact that death appears to be on holiday. Movie set in LA has to drive a car through the LA River Basin cliche.
I forgot we had those push pops. Man, my tummy is rumbling like a kraken right now.
Remember all those times when you ate a popsicle when you were hungry? Me neither. News position is the HPV of movie exposition. I'm almost more surprised when a movie doesn't have it.
The newly elected governor, Diane Foxington.
Wait, you're telling me that a society of mostly humans elected an animal as governor? Sure, if there's one thing I know about American politics, it's that people go for the candidate that looks the least like them.
This is the holy grail of thievery.
Isn't the Holy Grail the Holy Grail of thievery?
Okay, fine. But he better be delicious.
This whole redemption arc is kicked off by Snake wanting to eat Professor Marmalade, one of the many things we are asked to forget by the end of this.
So here's the plan.
It wouldn't be a heist movie without a detailed plan explanation before the heist that leaves nothing to the imagination and only serves to set up where the plan will go wrong later. Sorry, I meant to say it wouldn't be a terrible heist movie without a detailed plan explanation before the heist that leaves nothing to the imagination and only serves to set up where the plan will go wrong later.
Professor, in the past year, you've stopped wars, fed the hungry, and saved countless pandas.
For a con man, Professor Marmalade is certainly performing a lot of actual good deeds.
Interesting piece. Trashy, pointless, and pretentious.
Inherent vice.
If the bad guys crash this event, I am definitely going to lose my job, and I will not hesitate to take you down with me.
Geez, this character is so over the top that Sylvester Stallone is suing for copyright infringement. That is not how that works. Piranha not only knew this guy's schedule, but also exactly which stall he was going to use. As preposterous as that is, this wacky universe might just allow this to make sense. Despite this, it is definitely a sin to attack someone on the sacred throne. Is that Piranha supposed to be wearing that man's clothing? The movie attempts to short-circuit us by doing things so obviously dumb and impossible that we can't help but know they are self-aware and realize how dumb they are, thereby hoping that makes them smart. Nope.
You're such a good boy.
This will now make this wolf in creep's clothing all melting in the knees and tail waggy, because apparently all you have to do to tame a wolf is treat them like a domesticated pet. Marking that one down in case I need it later in real life.
Webbs, can you enhance this?
The real shame on this particular zoom and enhance cliche is that it's not even needed. Most modern phones take high quality enough pictures that you shouldn't really even have to do this level of enhancing after zooming in. I mean, unless you're using a Windows phone or something. But also, thinking a retinal scanner could be beaten with a picture of someone's eye. Writers think a heist movie without laser trip sensors is more absurd than a piranha with legs. This security system not being designed to detect Ric Flair.
Successfully reverse climate change for the well-being of all of us.
Wait, did she just say that Professor Marmalade reversed climate change? Since the movie never refutes this claim, now I believe this little f***er deserves the $1 billion he tries to steal at the end of the movie. Hell, they should have given him $1 billion to see what else he could solve. Fancy security system is fancy enough to detect and shoot at the spring, but not fancy enough to alert anyone that it did so.
This was not supposed to happen.
The oh no, how are they going to get out of this one moment every heist movie is obligated to use, because suspense.
Time to turn this baby on beast mode.
Since it seems to get everything done faster, why weren't you already in beast mode? Webbs is going to pass out from holding her breath so that she doesn't breathe any of Mr. Piranha's nervous toots. And I don't know if you realize this, but farts are not poison.
Now let's make like a wolf and get the pack out of here.
Ah, wordplay.
Isn't though? I mean, I think you're going for get the f out of here, with neither rhymes nor really sounds like pack. I mean, the mayor is right there. You couldn't have gone with something along those lines, for fuck's sake?
And when you're good, you're loved.
So help me if this movie doesn't make a grander point about love being unconditional, not having to be earned. I swear I will hate it forever.
It's the end of the bad guys.
From your non-existent lips to God's non-existent ears, Misty.
Wolf!
Crying wolf.
Excuse me.
Hey,
Sorry to interrupt.
You know all those times you see a wanted criminal being taken into custody, but then they are allowed to make an appeal to the governor for their own conditional release? Yeah, me neither.
What if we tried a little experiment, Diane?
Letting a general citizen try an experiment with likely perpetrators of multiple felonies who are already in custody.
Of course, good thinking. That's why you're governor.
Is that why she's governor? I thought it was because the polarized electoral base was inflamed by the fear-mongering political elite wantonly abusing a two-party system to gain power and access. Glad to be wrong. Making your prison acronym suck 'em.
My cousin got hit on the head with an anchor, and after that, he only swam in a circle.
At first, I thought this was a reference to the other DreamWorks property, Shark Tale, but Frankie definitely died in that one, so this is just a missed opportunity to create a shared universe.
We're gonna pretend to go good.
And I say this out loud because they've left us back here by ourselves for some reason.
A giant butt!
This butt's on for all the sometime.
And you feel that tingle of positivity radiating through your body, you're going to want to feel it all the time.
He's not wrong, but you have to fight the urge because there are some places it's not okay to make that tingle radiate throughout your body, like church or the dentist or Panda Express, just as completely random examples.
That's it! I'll teach you to share.
I know it's a cartoon, but these characters surviving everything has got to be setting a bad example for at least one child that now thinks they can survive being completely consumed by a shark.
Heists, you say?
Well, that's kind of our specialty.
Which should have been evident when their first answer was stealing. But Rupert decides to wait until they say heists, as if that rings a bell when approximately 70% of the skills mentioned before that were a direct synonym. Also, you can call them your specialty all you want, but you're literally here because you got busted trying to do one. So maybe pump the braggadocio brakes just a tad there, Wolfie.
That is an animal testing lab. Within 200,000 helpless guinea pigs, all being poked and prodded by sadistic scientists.
Why does this talking guinea pig exist in the same world as these other guinea pigs that are helpless? The movie never explains why Marmalade is a professor guinea pig and all the others in the movie are normal red shirt guinea pigs.
Hey there, son.
Dad?
I'm starting to question whether or not the humans in this movie are even conscious.
Help has arrived. Just keep your eyes glued to that door.
Oh, it's one of those public heists I've heard so much about.
What do you think you're doing? We're supposed to save them, not eat them.
Since this
Name one food better than cake.
Guinea pig?
was part of the very first conversation you had in this movie, how exactly is it that Wolf does not know how much Snake wants to eat the guinea pigs? Wait, Tiffany Fluffett works as both a reporter and a newspaper writer? Working in two obsolete professions simultaneously? That's actually impressive.
Oh, yeah. The full Clooney.
Trying to go full Clooney Tunes in your animated heist movie.
A wolf and a fox are not so different.
They are. I could just sin this insanely large Bruce Almighty moon, but I'd rather sin that this wolf is somehow not howling at it. It's like your whole thing, man.
This might just be enough to win over the guests at the gala.
After all the bad press they received over the years, being arrested a few days ago, and the debacle at the lab, all it takes is one cat video to change everyone's mind. Oh, damn it, that might just actually be true. Well, no one animal should have that much power.
At some point, you're going to have to choose between your friends or the good life.
Marmalade is so clearly the actual bad guy in this movie that I'm surprised Paddington hasn't shown up to put him in his place and make him change his name, putting Mr. Shark on the top bunk.
Snake, buddy, who made the plan to begin with? You did. So I'm the one who sticks to the plan the most, right?
I can't tell if Sam Rockwell is doing his best George Clooney impression, or if I'm just realizing now that they are the same person.
The Golden Dolphin is inside a titanium case controlled by a randomly generated 5-digit code.
It'd be one thing if these heist plans were even the slightest bit clever or interesting, but in 45 minutes we've already seen 4 different basic-ass heist plans with the most cliched and boring setups. Do you have access to Soderbergh's bathroom? Because he could out a more interesting heist plan in his sleep. So maybe you need access to Soderbergh's You know, my point is the plans suck.
This is different.
Good. It's nice to have one unique thing in this run-of-the-mill, insipid, uninspired sleepwalk of a movie. Thinking a fingerprint scanner could be beaten with a picture of someone's fingerprint. Synchronized, convenient plot tension glancing. I just spent a good 20 minutes trying to figure out the translation of the Latin text that the Golden State Police Department uses on their official code cards that they store in a suitcase to be carried around parties, and I still don't know what it means. Directly translated, it appears to mean until the need for mourning, love is a soft stage of healing, the bed. And that's some bullshit, because when I need morning love, it is not at a soft stage of healing. This song and dance number makes everyone donate more money than they would have otherwise, because as we all know, philanthropy is directly tied to whether or not your party is an absolute rager. Putting zeros at the beginning of your numbers. This asshole was walking around with gold bars in his pockets. No wonder the bad guys were so successful at crime. Everyone and everything in this town is set up to be robbed like that bank and free guy. Just to be clear, these guys have been singing an impromptu song, playing instruments we didn't know they could play, backed by a band that is somehow following along while they sing lyrics that go perfectly with the theme of the movie. And they've all been doing it for the past 3 minutes of film time. There are so many things to sit in here, but I guess I'll just boil it down to this. Musicals. Are you telling me they couldn't find an asshole in the room with $8 more?
By the power vested in me, it is a pleasure to grant the bad guys a full pardon.
The pardon gets foiled, yes, but was everyone going to be okay with it based on a cat video and song?
The meteorite is gone!
It sure is, even though it was still there right before the lights went out and not there a single frame after they went dark. 1 frame! Are you telling me that the as-to-yet unrevealed villain, which is clearly Marmalade, stole the meteor in 1/24th of a second? Also, now everyone who was convinced they were good a second ago thinks they are bad again based on just as little evidence as they had to the contrary a moment ago. There is no way radical shifts in opinion like this are healthy for the individual or society.
Piranha, don't do anything crazy.
Piranha will now do something crazy because they need to be caught to get to the next checkpoint. Plot point.
Talk to Marmalade.
This sentence makes sense.
Tonight's headline, change is impossible.
You should always judge a book by its cover, and all stereotypes have been affirmed.
Fox News.
After all, you're such a good boy.
This reveal that Marmalade was pulling the bad guy's strings all along is supposed to make us believe he's some kind of mastermind, but the whole plan was pretty dumb and required him to get lucky on multiple occasions. The bad guys had to try and steal the Golden Dolphin, Wolf had to help Marmalade when he was disguised as an old woman, then Wolf had to predictably respond to a specific phrase instead of just f***ing off with his loot, all of which just happened to work out as planned. Not to mention the governor had to also agree to forego the rule of law in this situation. What is this, the Matrix? Also spending 30 full seconds on flashbacks to tell us something we already knew.
Told you guys it's a butt.
It's not a bat. It's the ultimate power source.
So it's a butt.
You see, when it struck, scientists found that it emitted an electromagnetic frequency.
Waiting till after the reveal to exposition your clues.
Let's be honest, evolution set you up.
After all the things that have occurred in direct opposition to science, the movie now wants to drag evolution into this.
You little pouchy cheeked rat!
That's racist. Date of birth, October 19th, 1991? 91? Wolves usually live 6 or 7 years in the wild and at most around 17 in captivity. This wolf is 31! This wolf is the equivalent of a 200-year-old human. And if you had told me this was an immortal wolf story from the start, I'd have had so much more fun. Squeezing a tarantula. Holy shit, Mr. Snake was born in 65? Snakes live like 30 years max. He's over 50! Are all these animals immortal? Is this like the zoological version of the old guard? Why didn't no one tell me this?
Our life was perfect until you decided to ruin it.
Little known fact, one of the tricks Swiss watchmakers use in setting their watches perfectly is to time them to the arrival of a movie's third act conflict cliche. It never fails.
Oh, yeah? If they loved us so much, how come we're in prison for a crime we didn't commit?
Snake is absolutely right. Every one of those people at that party is super fickle and complicit in all the douchebaggery going on in this town. We've heard a lot about changing who you are on the inside, but the role of society and the creation of the bad guys feels like it's been glossed over.
Tell that to him.
Oh, look, it's Pronoun Gaming's second cousin. Obvious pronoun misdirection.
Diane?
Act as surprised as you want, but the audience was so far ahead of this reveal, they may already be halfway through the credits. With this concept and these name intros, I'm surprised they didn't just name the movie The Suicide Claude. Cutting away from the impossible escape to directly after the impossible escape is just an admission that said escape was impossible. Where did this car drive from that it's parked like this? Did she back it in here?
And the one guy I thought I could trust stabbed me in the back.
That's your front. Okay, so we're not going to explain why only guinea pigs are affected by this brain beam. I guess the mind control also allows the rodents to all of a sudden have the intelligence and dexterity to open their cages from the inside.
I just had one thing left to steal.
The golden dolphin.
It's really dumb that the most sought after and hard to steal item in the world is a trophy given out at an annual award show. Holy Dark Knight and Secret Hideout, Batman! Also, I love that she has just one of almost every weapon except the umbrellas. Better have an extra of those just in case.
We have to steal the meteorite.
Well, duh. I guess they won't be explaining why they need air tags till later.
You stole my car?
Yes, and I parked it at this unnecessary angle to make the reveal sexier. This secret tunnel is clearly visible from across the street. We never find out who Peggy Sue is.
Here, take it.
The problem with this final turn to good for the rest of the crew is that there is no real catalyst for it. Sure, Wolf told them about his experience, but they never had any kind of self-examination moment or even process what Wolf said in any meaningful way. It just changed for seemingly no reason. And generally, I like a little development to be part of my character development. Good thing for Marmalade's plan that all these deliveries were the actual truckloads of cash driven to each individual charity, as opposed to, doing it digitally or some normal shit.
Why would Marmalade leave the golden dolphin unprotected?
Because maybe it's a trap.
And the movie feels the need to continually undermine your abilities as a master thief until we begin to question why it was so hard to catch you in the first place.
Poison gas! Don't breathe it in!
Nope, it's cinema's very first pass gaseous ex machina. Congratulations to all involved.
Come on! Spin it, blades!
Movie has actively worked to prove that no one dies in this universe, so I doubt even the children watching this movie are concerned by this perilous situation. Thinking this cat needs sunglasses more than a seatbelt. They strip off their spandex mid-drive somehow, and was Wolf wearing a suit under that thing?
We need some kind of magnetized cross-circuit interceptor?
You mean this?
Well, good thing she grabbed all of the very specific thing that at no point was it made clear would be necessary on this mission. Just in case.
Webs! You feel like a girl's trip?
Mistaking Aquafina for Tiffany Haddish. Of all the details from the real world that could have been in this movie, they chose to include this little racing trick of using the brake and accelerator simultaneously. It's a very cool bit of animation, but it doesn't explain why anything this car does is possible. What superpower is Piranha invoking that makes him able to do this? Wait, how has he been breathing out of the water this entire time? And the shark too?
What do you say we deliver this butt rock to the chief?
Pooping euphemisms.
We can't do this without him.
Maybe, but you could also stop for a split second and then tell them the plan, right?
Snake, come back! We need you, baby!
And you need us!
Despite the fact that they are in a helicopter where people need headphones to hear people a few feet away from them, this conversation continues on with no issues. I don't care how many of them there are, guinea pigs cannot fly and cannot withstand that kind of force. Movie doesn't know how to guinea pig correctly.
Pull him up first, or I'll use this.
I dubbed this MacGuffin Lipstorch the Rogue, breather of fire and stealer of hearts.
Do it, or you'll lose the rock.
A demand from a failed negotiation tactic for F9 somehow makes it into the script. Wolf killed approximately 1,355 guinea pigs in this scene to attempt to save his one friend. These guys will now free fall for the next 55 seconds, which should mean they fall about 9,000 feet or about 7 Empire State Buildings. And does this crater look that deep to you?
Who said it was the end?
Okay. Help me walk through this. Is the movie saying he shot the grappling hook and it somehow launched them upwards before it even grabbed onto something? And then the explosion of the car just happened to knock the mind control helmet into the helicopter blades? Is that what happened here? The entire resolution of this movie is just a complete disregarding of physics and random happenstance that I'm supposed to be satisfied now? Also thinking they could end up hanging from the end of the highway when they were all the way out here in the middle of the crater before.
We're done running away.
I guess it's possible she has hidden handcuffs in enough shapes and sizes for most of these guys, but explain to me exactly what handcuffs that Mr. Snake thinks she's about to put on him here and how they would do anything to secure him. Well, I guess that answers that question. Seriously, movie. A fucking handcuff necklace?
This isn't the meteorite. It's It's a lamp!
Big twist! Mr. Snake was a good guy the whole time. Let's count the ways this absolutely breaks the movie just to have a twist. First, it breaks the plot. If Snake had control of the meteorite the entire time, there was no necessary dramatic tension to any of the finale. Second, it breaks the relationship resolution. That whole moment of reconciliation in the helicopter, completely unnecessary and a complete act by Mr. Snake for who and why exactly. Third, it breaks all logic. In what universe does Mr. Snake decide to be good and not immediately tell his friends the plan? He needlessly put the lives of his friends and countless guinea pigs at risk when he could have just put the rock into overdrive right away and had been done with it. This is not only the dumbest possible way to accomplish his goals, it's actually the riskiest and borderline evil. The movie wants us to think Snake is now a good guy, but at best, he's an asshole guy.
This is the Zumpango diamond, but this was stolen by the... by the Crimson Paw!
Movie doesn't realize that even though Professor Marmalade is a criminal, him being locked up for a crime he didn't commit is still a miscarriage of justice.
Oh, the fucking ass serpent bit me! Staple my to my balls and then do sit-ups. It hurts!
Guys, it's me!
I wear disguise.
Webbs, hit it. Check your system preferences.
You probably need to download a driver.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Hi, Rupert Marmalade IV.
Spoke to the elders of the internet not 1 hour ago. I told them about Jen winning Employee of the Month.
So we're going for a tingle?
Not any tingle.
My Peter tingle.
Come out to the coast. We'll get together, have a few laughs.
I think Wolf was right. Maybe we could be more than just scary villains. Oh, this beetle's got a booty.
Poison gas! Don't breathe it in!
What is there?
Is there air? You don't know!
That's not poison gas!
Oh, that would be me. I've been swimming in raw sewage.
Guys, I know it's crazy, but we're gonna jump it.